Greetings, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark Munzenberger, and I serve as the Financial Education Manager here at UMCU. So I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar today. Our recorded webinar will provide you an overview of our recently launched new online banking system. And I really think you'll enjoy this as we walk through some frequently asked questions, as well as some of the key features and benefits of the system to really help you maximize your use of the system. So to help us kind of steer the ship, I am joined by two of my UMCU colleagues, Heather and Maria from our training team. You're in very capable hands today. They will share a number of really important, valuable areas of our system, show you some screenshots, kind of explain how the functionality works. And I may chime in a few times with some questions, but we're really pleased that you're joined us today. Now, of course, as we go through this, you're probably going to have some questions and you may need some individual support. So I promise you at the very end of the presentation, we have a full slide with both the email and the phone numbers to call if you need questions. And I will share with you that our main email address, which is umcu@umcu.org, is a great place to go ahead and pose those questions. We respond as quickly as we can, and we'll get you off to a good start. So with that being said, Heather and Maria, thank you so much for doing this webinar for all of our members. And I'm really excited to kind of steer the ship with you. So why don't you take it away?
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark. So I'm Heather. I'm going to start us off today. Today, we are focusing on some frequently asked questions we've had about our new online banking platform. So some of the topics that we are going to be covering is we're going to talk about the account overview screen, so that you'll see when you first log in. We're going to cover transfers and payments and how to do different types of those in the new system. We'll cover additional services, including how you opt in and out of e-statements and how you manage the security code settings. And then we'll also talk about the mobile deposit and bill pay on the mobile app and a new feature to be aware of since the new update. And then we'll have some information on how you contact us if you have questions at the end. So first, when you first log in, you'll see your accounts overview screen. There's a couple of view options. You can either see them in the list view or grid view. We'll also show you how to hide your shares and accounts that you want to see when you log in. You'll also be able to group your shares if you want to categorize them. And then you'll be able to view your account details and history from this screen as well. So the first thing to know is how you want to set up your accounts overview screen. Do you want to see it in either a list or a grid? So over on the left-hand side here, you'll see the list view. And you can see here, you can toggle that on and off by these two icons here. Or if you want to see the grid view, you can choose that and they'll be laid out in a grid. You can always rearrange your shares if you want them to show up in a particular order. If you hover over the two vertical bars here next to your share name, you can click and drag them and rearrange them in any order that you wish.
Heather, when I click on one of my accounts, how far back does history show? For example,
That's a
my
great
Visa card, my savings account, how far back can I look in terms of transactions?
Great question, Mark. That will, right now it's going to go back to the beginning of 2020. So you definitely can go back and see a good amount of history. And if you want to see more than that, you can check out your statements, which will go back even further. So next on that accounts overview screen, you can also hide your shares and accounts. So something that's new with this online banking system is now instead of having a separate login, if you have multiple UMCU accounts, you'll have one login and be able to see everything through that one sign-in. If you don't want to see all of your accounts every time you sign in, you can manage that yourself. You can click Edit Hidden Accounts up at the top, and then it will pull up the list of all the accounts you have ownership of, and you can turn them on and off for visibility. So by clicking the box next to any of your shares or your account, you can remove them so that you do not have to see them each time you log in. And then you can save changes at the bottom, and you can edit this anytime that you want. Once you've saved your changes back on the accounts overview screen, you can toggle your accounts on and off so you can show them or hide them whenever you wish. And any changes you make on that accounts overview screen are also going to reflect when you log into the mobile app. So if you want to show or hide your accounts on the mobile app, you can use the little plus icon and it'll turn into a minus icon if you want to hide them. You can also manage your account grouping. So if you want to group your accounts together, perhaps you might want to group all of your checking accounts together or savings accounts together if you have multiple accounts, or you want all of your loans in one group. Or maybe if you have multiple UMCU account numbers, you want the individual accounts to be grouped together. So you can manage that. You can create as many groups as you would like. You can do that by clicking Manage Account Grouping and then Add Account Group. It will prompt you for a name, and you can click Add Group. And then you can also rearrange your group. So just like you can with shares, if you hover over the two vertical lines, you can click and drag to put them in whatever order you would like, and then hit Return to Accounts to go back to the main screen.
Heather, I'm scheduled to actually pay my car loan off in the next couple months. Once that loan is paid off, should I expect it to drop off my account overview screen or will it stay on there for a while?
Great question. Once you pay the loan off, it will drop off and you will not see it anymore. So you'll know that it was successfully paid off once the balance is zero. Good
So
question.
only active accounts will really be here and grouped if I want to group them.
Exactly. Yes. So, and that would be like any like closed end loan that disappears. Obviously, if you have like a revolving loan, like a Visa or something, when the balance is zero, that will still show up for you so that you can reuse the line.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Once you've grouped your shares, just a reminder that you can rearrange your shares into any group. Same way you would rearrange them normally. You're going to click and drag on those two vertical lines and you can drop them into the groups that you've now created. One other thing to note is once you create groups, you'll see subtotals for that individual group. So up at the top, we have the account summary of the total funds you have in your account. That's going to add together any shares that you have and then subtract the balances for any loans. And then you'll see them for each individual group. It will total those as well. If you want to see the account details, you can click on any share either by clicking on the name or the down arrow next to it. If you want to see your full transaction history, you can click View All Transactions. We're going to show that page in a second and get into more details there. There's also this About This Account button. That's going to pull up your account details, and that will give you important information such as your account number. So the number that it lists here next to the MICR number, that is the version of your account number that you're going to want to use for any electronic transfers or payments. So if you're trying to set up direct deposit or anything, that is the number that you will want to use. It'll also show information such as your interest rate on either your shares or your loans as well.
Heather, can I ask how many digits usually is that account number? Is it greater
Great
than
question.
6?
Yes, great question. So the version of your account number that you're going to use for electronic transfers like direct deposit is going to be a full 10-digit number. There
Okay.
is another version of your account number that you used for enrollment that's going to be somewhere between 1 and 6 digits, and that is not the version you'll use for electronic transfers. Great question, Mark.
10 digits. Okay. Thank
Yep,
you.
10 digits. You can also find that information in your app as well. So when you log in on the app and click on a share, you'll be able to see the history. And then if you click on the details tab, you can find your full account number here to use for electronic transfers. So now this is your transaction history view. So on that previous page, if we hit view all transactions, this is where it will take us. Up at the top here, you can switch between different shares or loans to see the transaction history for them. It's going to show you any pending transactions. So if you're looking at either your checking account or maybe your credit card, it'll show anything that's pending where you've swiped the card. We can see here we've got a Walmart transaction and it does show us when that hold expires. Keep in mind that hold amounts are not always the accurate amount of the transaction. A great example of when we see this a lot is if you are swiping your debit card as credit at the gas station. The gas station, because you haven't pumped the gas, it doesn't know the amount of the transaction yet, so it's putting a hold on for an arbitrary amount. That can be anywhere from $1, and then we've seen as high as $151. So just keep that in mind. You'll need to know how much you actually spent so you know how much is in your account and available to you.
Heather, I know the first time I saw that last slide with the graph up on top, I got a little thrown off where it says your income. That actually reflects a payment that I make on this Visa card, correct?
Yes, great
Okay.
question. So this
Yep.
graph, this transaction graph view is going to show you it labels it your income and spending. It's over the
Yep.
last month that it's showing for you. So for a
Mhm.
share, it's going to show any deposits and then withdrawals. For a loan, anything that's green is going to be a payment that you've applied towards that loan. And then the red is going to be any advances you've made. So in this example for the credit card, anytime you spent money, it's in red. Anytime you made a payment, it's in green.
Perfect.
Great question.
Thank you.
Of course. So then still on our transaction history, a couple other things to note is you can search or filter your transaction history if you're looking for something specific. And then you can also edit how much transaction history you want to see. So it'll default to the last 90 days, but if you want to go back further, you can switch it back to all history. And as we mentioned, right now that'll go back to the beginning of 2020. So you can definitely go back and find previous transactions. You can also print or export your transaction history if you need it for your records or trying to download it somewhere else. And then you'll also notice there's icons next to each of your transactions. Those are going to default to either a down red arrow if money is leaving this account or share, and then it will be a green up arrow if money is coming in. You can change those icons to different things if you would like, but that'll be what it defaults to.
Mhm.
You can also add some additional information if you click on transactions. It will give you an option to attach an image to the transaction. So for example, if you wanted to upload a receipt or an invoice of some sort so that you can reference it with that transaction later, you can certainly do that. If the transaction that you click on is a check that you wrote and was withdrawn from your account, you'll also see an option to view the check image. So if you click on this check images button, it will pull up and you can either print or just view that check image that you wrote off of your account. So very handy if you're trying to go back and match things up. Next, we have our transfers and payments. So we're going to talk about both internal transfers and external transfers, which would be different types of electronic transfers that you can do through online banking. Those include ACH transfers and then wire transfers. So first, if you're trying to initiate an internal transfer, you're going to go to this transfers and payments tab along the side and then make a transfer. You'll then select where you want the money coming from and what share you want the money going to. In this case, we're going to make a payment from our checking to our Visa. And then you will see that there's some options on this transfer details. For Visa credit cards, you'll see there's a balance payoff option. You can pay what was due for the last statement, or you can choose an amount yourself and type that in. You can choose how often you want that transfer to go. It can be just once right now. You can schedule it for a future date or make it a reoccurring transfer as well. And you do have the option to add a memo. Then you just hit submit now and that will go instantly.
So Heather, just to confirm, I do that a lot. I'll pay my bills out of my checking account. If I do an internal transfer, let's say today, should I expect that money to be credited to my Visa or my auto payment tomorrow? Is that typically the time frame?
If you are doing it from a UMCU or EMUCU share to another UMCU or EMUCU share, it'll happen right away. There's no delay.
Okay,
As soon as you post it, you should see it reflected in the transaction history. Good
nice.
question.
So same day. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
instant. It's great.
Yep.
You're welcome. Similarly, if you want to transfer to another UMCU member, you can do that through this tab as well. Again, you'll select where the money is coming from, and then you'll choose the Another Member section for where the money is going. There are a couple of options here. If you've transferred to a member before and saved them in your list, they may already be in your dropdown, or you can choose that you want to enter their account information, and you'll be able to enter that information in your transfer details. So here you'll enter their account number. This will be their account number that is between 1 and 6 digits, and you'll type it in twice to confirm it. You'll enter their last name. And then if you know their share or loan ID, you can type that in. That's going to be in the format. If it's a share, it's going to be S colon and then the share ID number. If it's a loan, it'll be L colon and then the loan ID number. If you don't know it, that's totally fine. You can just leave it checked as I don't know the share or loan ID, and it will put the money into their savings account, and then they can go in and move it wherever they would like. Again, you have the same options for if you want it to happen now, in the future, or as a reoccurring transfer. You can add a memo. I mentioned that member list that you can save to. If you check this box, if this is a transfer that you're going to be doing routinely and you don't want to have to type in their account number and last name each time, you can save it to your member list, and then it'll be in this drop down the next time you go to make a transfer. So very convenient for you.
I'm sure a lot of our parents appreciate the convenience of this functionality to potentially move some money into their son or daughter's account at times. It can now the recurring payments, we'll leave that up to the parents, but at least the technology is there to make this happen fairly quickly.
Yes. One other thing I just want to point out while we're talking about internal transfers is on the accounts overview screen, we did talk about hiding your accounts. Just note that if you hid any of your accounts on your accounts overview screen, you will not see them as options here to transfer to and from. So if you want to go back and be able to transfer from them, you just need to unhide them, go ahead and make the transfer, and then you can rehide them if you don't want to see them when you log in. Now we're going to talk about external transfers. So you can set up payees anytime you want, and then they'll be there saved and ready when you're ready to make an external transfer. So you can do them for external accounts. This would be an ACH transfer or an electronic transfer. And then you can also do wire transfers. If you click Add New Payee for either one, you'll see prompts for you to enter the information needed to do those transfers. So on the left here, to do an ACH transfer or an electronic transfer, it'll prompt you for the name, the bank's name, the routing number, the full electronic account number, and then if it's a checking or a savings account. Once you hit link account, it's going to initiate sending a couple of micro deposits to that account number. You'll need it to log into that account. It usually takes 1 to 2 business days to get those micro deposits. You'll log into that account, you'll get the amounts of those micro deposits, and then you'll come back into UMCU's online banking and enter the amounts of those micro deposits in order to verify that account. Wire transfers, it's going to prompt you for the information you need. You can see here it's going to prompt you for the beneficiary and their address information, as well as any instructions. The next step will then prompt you for the bank information that you will need to include. When you're ready to actually initiate an external transfer, you can come to this Make a Transfer screen. In this example here, we're going to pull money from an external account to put into our UMCU savings. So I'm going to select an external account via ACH or electronic transfer. These do take up to 3 business days, but they are free. There's no fee to do these. And we're going to put it in our savings. It's going to show me, now from here, I could select a payee that I've already set up. So if I linked someone on the previous screen, if I already set up a payee, it would be in my dropdown, or it gives me the option to add a new one if I haven't created the one I want to use yet. Then it will show me a summary of where I'm sending the money to or pulling from, depending on what type of transfer I'm doing. I can enter the amount and then how often I want it to happen, just once right now, sometime in the future, or a reoccurring transfer. And I can add a memo. There is a reminder letting me know that this type of transfer can take up to 3 business days to process. And you'll be able to go ahead and submit that. Similarly, we can do a wire transfer on this screen. Wire transfers can only go out, so you're always sending money from your UMCU account out to another institution if you're doing a wire through online banking. You're going to select the share that you want the money to come from, and then the destination you want the wire to be sent to. Again, you can either select it from the dropdown if you've already set up the external payee, or you can create a new wire transfer payee if you haven't had a chance to set them up yet. It'll show us a summary of where it's going. You'll want to enter in the amount that you want to send with the wire transfer, and you can add a memo if you would like. One thing to point out is that wire transfers, there are fees that apply depending on if you are sending the money in electronic, or if you are sending it domestically, or if you're sending it internationally. There's also some cutoff times to be aware of. If you're doing a domestic wire transfer within the US, it needs to be submitted by 4 p.m. to go out the same day, and then internationals has a 1 p.m. cutoff time. So once you've read through that and it all sounds okay, you'll go ahead and hit submit. Please note that this process for wires doesn't actually send the wire. This is going to submit the information to a UMCU team member who will review. They may reach out to you to verify your identity and the wire information, and then we'll get it sent on the way.
Heather, I'm somebody that does like to use mobile banking as well on my phone. For a lot of the things that you're talking to us about, let's say adding a new payee and those type of things, can I assume that that will automatically move over to my mobile banking? I won't have to do this essentially twice?
Yes, exactly. So any of these transfer options, whether it's transferring within your own account, transferring to another UMCU member, or you're doing an electronic transfer or a wire, you can do most of that all through your online banking. The one thing that, through your mobile app, the one thing that's not an option on the mobile app is actually sending the wire transfers. But
Okay.
all those other options are available. You can add the wire payee on the mobile app, but not actually send the wire.
Okay. But I guess high level, the systems really are in sync.
Yes. Yep.
That's the most important thing. Whether you're at home or out and about, you still have access to all this important information.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
All right, so now we're going to talk about some additional services that we can access through our online banking. So you can now access your statements through online banking and the mobile app. And so we'll show you how to do that through the online banking. And then also we have an extra step of security that you can add to your account, and we'll show you how to turn that on and off as well. So the first part is going to be the statements. So once you're logged into your online banking, you'll choose your settings, and then you can choose additional services. And this is going to lead you to any account that you are on. You will be able to choose whether you have access to the statement or not. If it is toggled on as green, that means that you are set up for your statement to be electronic. If it's toggled off as gray, that means you will get the paper statement fee, and it will be mailed to you through the mail. And so that statement fee is $1, and that just comes out of your account each month. The second part is going to be your one-time PIN authentication. This is going to be separate from each time you log in. From a new device, you will always receive a code each time you log into a new device, but this is going to be anytime you log in. You will go to settings and the additional services again, and this one-time PIN is going to be a code that is emailed to you each time you log into the online banking. It's just an extra step of security. If you would like to add that to your account, you can choose the toggle button on to green, and that means that it will send you a code every time you log in. If you have it toggled to gray, then it will not send you that login code each time, and your computers can also remember you each time you log in as well.
Maria, can I ask you 2 quick questions?
Sure.
When those e-statements become available, how do I become aware of that? Should I expect an email from UMCU that my statement is now available?
You absolutely will get an email sent to you and letting you know your statements are available. They are also set up now to where you get a statement for all of your shares and your loans, and then your Visa credit card is its own separate statement as well. So you now can receive 2, which is much beneficial to be able to separate those and see exactly what you're looking for.
Okay. And for the security code authentication, I know certainly there's an option to have that emailed. Is there also an option for me to choose to get a text message if that's more convenient, or is it email only?
Great question. It is email only.
Okay,
Right now that is something we're looking into, but it is email only at this time.
okay, thanks.
Absolutely. Okay. And so then we're also going to talk about the mobile app and a couple of features of that. So you can still mobile deposit and do bill pay, but now because you can be linked to all of your accounts underneath one login, you want to be able to choose which account you may want to make a mobile deposit to or which account you may want to use the bill pay. So we're going to talk about how to do that from the mobile app. So when you log into your mobile app, you will be able to choose mobile deposit. Once you do that, it looks the same as it did before, but one of the new features is it has this circle at the bottom that is blue. Thank you. And that circle now gives you the option to toggle in between different accounts. So once you choose that button, it's going to load up any account that you have access to. As you can see, there's a blue check mark next to the account ending in 123. If I so choose to change the account, I can, where that arrow is pointing to 124, I can choose that account. And now when I choose to make a mobile deposit, it's going to choose the 124 account to deposit that check into. You can also have another option when you choose this hamburger menu. It's going to give you a drop down, and in that drop down, you will see switch member account. When you click on that, it's going to load the same screen where that accounts 123 and 124 are. And again, you can choose which account you would like to choose in between for your mobile deposit.
Boy, I remember the first time I ever did a mobile deposit when I was taking a picture of the front and back of the check. I was just like, how is this going to work? And lo and behold, 24 hours later, everything was fine. It's such a remarkable, convenient service for those that are busy and may not have an opportunity to visit a branch. Mobile deposit is really nice for those that need the convenience of evening and weekends to make those deposits.
Absolutely. Every birthday check I get goes straight through the mobile app.
That's a great example.
Excellent. So then on our mobile app, we have the option of bill pay. So if you would like to switch between accounts that you may want to make a payment from, you can choose that blue button again. And once you choose that, it's going to load up the same screen where we see you can choose between your accounts ending in 123 or your accounts ending in 124. And from there, you can choose whichever one you want the money to come from to make those payments for whatever you are choosing. So again, with the bill pay, you can also do the same thing of in the hamburger, choosing the menu that shows switch member account, and it will lead you back to the same screen to choose in between different accounts. And of course, if you need to contact UMCU, we have 3 convenient phone numbers for you. The 734-662-8200. We have a 800 number, and then we have another local 734 number as well. You can also always email umcu@umcu.org, like Mark spoke about at the beginning. They will do their best to get back to you as soon as possible. And then now in our online banking, we also have a way for you to secure message as well. And so once you log in, on the left-hand side, it'll say messages and alerts. And then underneath that, you can choose new message, and it will send that email in, and they can respond through that as well through the online banking.
And Heather and Maria, I know that when we launched online banking back in March, we set up an opportunity, sort of a special portal as area on our website, specific to online banking. And I believe, can you share with us what would a member see if they went to that area of our website related to online banking?
Great question, Mark. So we do have the online banking pulled up, and you can see once you go to umcu.org, Heather can scroll down a little bit and you see it says learn more about online banking. And so once we choose that, it's going to lead just to a page, and it gives you some options to enroll or to log in. And then here you can see there's a couple of videos that we have done that can get you started in enrolling. It'll show you exactly how to enroll and what you need. You can set up alerts. And then you can also, we talked today about some transfers and it can show you, those are the 3 quick ones listed there. You can also choose video tutorials, and that can take you to our YouTube page, and it's going to show you even more videos that you would have access to, among other videos that Mark has done for the team as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so these videos are a little bit smaller. They're all between a couple minutes in length, really focused on one particular area.
So you can see on our screen that we have a couple of different videos that can break down specifically some of the things that we talked about today. So we talked about at the end about how to send a secure message. We have a video that can walk you through that. How to make internal transfers. So we talked about how to make transfers to loans, to other shares, and then to also different members. And then we also have the external transfer videos as well that's going to talk about wires or ACHs. Those both are electronic transfers. And so just a few different videos that are going to give you a better breakdown. Instead of maybe having to watch the whole video or click through here, you can specifically go to those.
For sure. And we certainly want to encourage all of our members. We know everybody's situations and sort of requests are unique to your situation and specifically how you like to manage your money. And I always tell our members, you know, it's not a one size fits all approach. However you stay organized and like to lay things out is definitely a personal decision. So absolutely make sure you guys that you're taking advantage of the email, which is umcu@umcu.org, to ask those more general questions. And if you do need to get one of our member service reps on the phone, feel free to do that. We're happy to kind of help you and get the system working exactly as you need it. So Heather and Maria, any last suggestions or bit of advice for our members as we go forward?
Great question. I think just taking some time to explore the new system. It has a lot of new features that our old online banking didn't have. So hopefully it's going to make things a lot more convenient for the membership. But of course, don't hesitate to reach out to one of our member service representatives. We're happy to help you if you have any specific questions so we can tailor it to your needs.
Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. Great summary there. Well, again, we would like to thank all of our members that joined and listened to this this webinar. Please feel free to reach out to any of our team members. We're here to help you, and we very much hope that you enjoy all the features and benefits of this wonderful new system. So thanks so much for joining. Have a wonderful day, everyone.